Defeat causes one of two things. One, makes us resentful and angry, and two, helps us grow and evolve. The reason to watch this video is to understand both the views from Toji and Gojo's perspective. I'm going to start out by talking about how Toji underestimated Gojo upon his return after he did defeat him in the last episode. He didn't think Gojo was still alive. He knew that he defeated him because he stabbed the sword through his neck. He's like, okay, Gojo's dead, he's not coming back. And yet when he saw him standing there, Gojo explains to him how he was able to survive. It didn't really make sense to me. It probably didn't make sense to you guys either, because it's a mystical way of using cursed energy where it takes the positive and the negative and turns the negative and the negative to make a positive. It's a cool technique to do. It's just that's what Gojo did to be able to grow and evolve, and I'm going to get to him more in a second. First, I want to touch on the fact how Toji knew that something was off when the battle started. He's like, oh, Gojo's just high. He's not really in his right mind. He's not going to be able to defeat me. Yet he felt something off, but he wanted to be prideful. He wanted to allow his pride, and this is the problem that I have run into myself, and I think a lot of people run into themselves as well, is our pride gets in our way. Our pride stops us from walking away because we're like, well, we have this incredible opportunity right in front of us. Let me take this opportunity because I want to defeat this person and be known for all the people that have rejected me in the past, for all the people that have said that I wasn't worthy, that have told me that I couldn't do anything. And I've only had a few select people that have told me to do so. Maybe you guys have had more, and if you have, we can always talk about that. Happy to have a one-on-one discussion with each and every single one of you. And he didn't walk away, and the problem for him not walking away was it led to his death, because Toji was only under the impression that Gojo was able to use red, which was able to repel, and then blue, which was able to attract. It's like, oh, this is going to be an easy battle. It's just he had no idea that purple even existed. When Gojo started to explain how purple existed and how it worked and how like there's a secret essence in the Gojo clan that very few members actually knew about other than himself, obviously the few select few, and he only knows about it because he has Limitless and the 6 eyes, that was his downfall. And Toji knew that from the beginning. He knew that he should have just walked away. He shouldn't have got paid for the job. He should have just left. But he's like, you know, I'm going to be prideful. I'm going to stand here. I'm going to stand my ground. And that's the problem, you guys. I've done certain career paths. I've talked to certain people. I've had certain arguments. And I'm like, I don't need to be as prideful with this situation. Sometimes I have to let my pride go, just walk away from the situation, because I'll be coming back stronger the next time I do arise. And that's something that I think Toji should have done. And now I want to touch on Gojo as well. Gojo was able to grow and evolve from the situation. He was told these things of how he could use cursed energy and reverse energy and use the negative and the negative to create a positive and help him essentially recultivate his life. And he was able to take his failure and the defeat that he faced when he went up against Toji the first time and use that to his benefit, because now that essentially evolved Gojo to the point where he's going to be unstoppable. Nobody can stand in his way because he understands how to use cursed energy, how to use purple, how to use these different techniques that he didn't originally understand beforehand because he was never put in that situation. And I've started to realize that myself in my own life is we have to be put in certain situations to understand what we're truly capable of. That could be biking, that could be going to the gym, that could be watching anime, that could be just walking. It could be really anything. For me personally, it's biking, walking, meditating, journaling, and sales. And it helps me get to the point to where it's like, okay, I'm growing from each one of these situations. I've failed a couple of times. What can I do better next time? How can I make sure that the same event doesn't happen? Because I don't want to die. I don't want bad things to happen. I don't want to keep living the same moment over and over and over again. And that's the part that I like about what Gojo did within the moment, split second. It was crazy with how quickly it happened because it's something that takes time and it takes practice, and the more you do it, I've found out the easier it can become because you can start to connect the dots a lot quicker. One of my buddies told me this, it's like you don't ever really become better, you just become faster. And I do agree to that to a certain extent. And I believe that's what Gojo did, was he just had this near-death experience. He was able to be like, okay, what do I need to do? He figured out what he needed to do within that split second. He came back 100 times stronger than he was originally because he failed. And I have other videos on the channel that you guys can check out around failure and how it's not really an end, but a beginning, because each failure leads us to the next spot. And Gojo, he didn't want to have to do what he had to do to Toji, but he's like, I can't let you just get away with killing this girl. I can't let you get away with hurting my friend. I can't let you get away with all these bad things. So I have to grow and evolve to make sure that the people that I care about never get hurt again. And I hope you guys understand that what you need to do is whenever you fail, just as myself, I learn and I question and I reflect on that moment. Whereas if I was being too prideful and I was letting the failure get in front of me and say I've faced an enemy that I have again one day and it's like, I'm going to be angry and resentful, I'm going to fail and I'm going to lose the battle before it even started, just like Toji did.